So I'll give them over another 20 minutes, and then we conclude the debate. Honorable Kenya, the clerk, please check the time. Yes, sir. Honorable Omari, Council.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for the opportunity to respond. Quite a mouthful of submissions from the honorable members of Parliament, or my honorable members of the County Assembly. One issue that I start with, Mr. Speaker, sir, an admission has been done that instructions to file this removal of the governor from office was occasioned by outside forces, and therefore the County Assembly is only implementing directions and issued from outside. One of those directions came from Njurinjeke, by admission. The other directions came from other political quarters or executive powers outside this assembly. Mr. Speaker, sir, the creature of this assembly is found in Article 1, Sub-Article 4, that the sovereign powers of the people is exercised, 1, at the national level, and 2, the county level. It's not at the Njurinjeke shrine. In line of that, Mr. Speaker, sir, Article 3 puts it that every person has an obligation to respect, uphold, and defend this constitution. More specifically, Article 3(2), any attempt to establish a government otherwise than in compliance with this constitution is unlawful. By admission, the deputy governor was sworn in by Njurinjeke. A ceremony was conducted to grant powers to the deputy governor in anticipation of impeachment motion. The old constitution that was repealed on the 27th of August 2020 provided for, in the context between the late President Kibaki and the late Charles Njonjo, that anybody who could compass or imagine the death of a president committed an offense of treason. Today, a substantive illegal government is in place, waiting for a process of sanitization. It's a sad day. It is a sad day. An offense of treason is already committed. This is a process to sanitize that. So it is my submission, and that is why it has gone on the Hansard, that it cannot be that the deputy governor, out of aspiration to be the governor, decides to bring this process because of the constitutional provision that once the governor is impeached, the deputy automatically assumes power. If that is it, then the consequences are very well known. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is not the first time such drama has been made by a lecturer, the CS, and other people in Senate faced the similar fate and they were removed from office. That time, it was so painful. Today, it's music. What will be the fate of Governor Kawira after this process? The jury is on you. Third, I've had quite a number of issues, a challenge about the lawyers came to lie, the lawyers came to mislead, the lawyers came to do anything. Our instructions are come from our clients. Our record is not on criminal law alone. We represent those that have instructed you. We represented them 2017 to 2020, 2022. Now we are representing those ones who are instigating their impeachment. That is the role and the beauty of law. I've seen very able, promising advocates here. Come, train law, let's proceed, because the fate of 2027 might be a fate that you will not be able to contain. Let me respond to a few issues that have been raised, because as we are agents, we represent anybody. We represent anybody, and you will be, if you have not been part of our stables, you will, when it changes. And it changes. Today you are impeaching, tomorrow we'll deal it in another manner. But the lawyers are very impartial. We have nothing personal in this matter against anybody, and we do our job as per the law it is. Very few issues were raised. One, about the employees that were recruited without the Public Service Commission or the Public Service Board, or you being involved. For record purposes, personal assistants, cooks, drivers are not recruited through a competitive process pursuant to Article 236. Those are personal. And if that record, let the Hansard captured that way. Two, the question about the recalling of the driver of the deputy governor. Every member of the county assembly knows that driver by name. He's a brother to the deputy governor. There we do not have eyes. But when the sister, the alleged sister of the governor is a security attaché, it raises eyes. Let us do to others that which we expect to do, because the one you are forging to be the next governor, first impeachment will be him for having recruited his own brother to be his driver. Third, the question about China. This was a private donor. You've not been shown, Mr. Speaker, sir, any government expenditure or requisition for that. Fifth, Mr. Speaker, sir, no document of government has been presented before this assembly where the governor has signed. Not even one where her signature is appended. Fifth, you have been told that all these people, the technical team that left, were cleared by government. For record purposes, no public servant will leave this country without approval. Whether you are going for a personal matter or you are going for a public matter, without approval for your leaving. So that is the position. The approval was not for money purposes. Approvals was under the law, and I've seen
Council, man, even the members here when they are going on their personal issues, they are not cleared by the devolution, Ministry of Devolution. They just notify the speaker that they are out of the country. Those ones who are, if you are cleared by the Ministry of Devolution, it simply means you will get a pandiem. And what pandiem means, it means for those days that you have gone out, you will be paid every day. It's called either pandiem or night out. But if it's a personal trip, you are not cleared by the Ministry of Devolution. That's the case.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In light with those directions, none of the per diems payments receipts have been presented to you. They intend to present them to you after the impeachment motion has been concluded. They could have presented that as evidence. The Assembly has prepared for the whole 1 year for this impeachment. They could, they failed. Mr. Speaker, sir, on the question about the relatives and the nepotism, still there is no document to show marriage. A marriage certificate is a very simple document for government to get. It's not presented. A birth certificate showing sisterhood or brotherhood or IDs that are identical, none of those documents, which are critical, have been presented to you. Otherwise, relying on social media, the standard is different. On the question of the title, bishop, which has a connection to the Okolea, the issue of cows that the Ministry of Interior banned. It has again come here. That is a function funded by the church. No document showing expenses incurred to buy cattle has been presented. Mr. Speaker, the threshold of evidentiary threshold does not come lower. We cannot just say this is, or call it, these cows are being bought by government funds. Mr. Speaker, sir, the public participation that the members have raised was done in nine sub-counties out of the lawfully registered 15 sub-counties. Explanation is missing. Why was that? Was it tilted and to achieve a certain achievement? The road. It is very motive about the road. A social media post, if ever it was there, is the basis of impeaching a governor. A social media post. Very many of these Waheshimiwas, some of the people have created pseudo accounts, Facebook and other social media posts, purporting them to be that. I've been in one case where the voice of the then head of state, President Uhuru Kenyatta, somebody pretended to be one. So, we urge the Speaker and we urge the leadership to ignore evidence that is going to be relied based on social media posts. You know, Mr. Speaker, sir, the traffic marshal question is so emotive. No letter of appointment signed by the governor is here. Nowhere can you link the governor to that imaginary issue. It is a social media issue. Government talk by document. And that is why it is called a bureaucracy. So that the county assembly of 2023, the records will be kept under statute for a particular year, for a particular time of years. So let us not rely on social media to vilify the governor. On the question of fuel, they are junior officers mandated to do that, not the governor to do that. The question that she has failed to fire the county secretary. There are matters in court under which provision of the law will she fire an officer who is in court. My good sister, the member of, I don't know, the MCA who raised the question that the county assembly has powers similar to the High Court. I didn't hear her say that the county assembly has powers to issue warrants of arrest and to fine. Last week, when I was before the Senate, the government chief pathologist failed to come. He was fined 500,000 shillings. That is not there under the Act. So, is it really that the county assembly has similar powers to the powers of the High Court in terms of someone?
Council, you have 5 minutes remaining.
In sum total, only Mr. Speaker had 2 minutes to finalize this thing, that already a decision has been made. This was a procedure provided for, because a decision has been made outside this office, outside the plenary. It will go in history. It will go in on the hazard that decisions were done outside. They have only come to be implemented. Allow Mutuma, because he might decide to contest. He comes from here. He might decide to be an MCA next time, so that people can see his voice. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Thank you, Council Dunstan. Mutuma, you have only 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I will discharge my mandate within the 3 minutes. One is that I wish to respond to the issue of the Njoli function. It has been stated that that was a traditional prayer session. I have no problem whatsoever with traditional prayers. What I have